candidate sitting in front of you who's worked on federal legislation, so I'm going to tell you that they're right that we need to form a coalition. But I think you, the people, are going to form that coalition, because I think what we're going to see in November is a huge wave of a freshman class that's going to be constitutionally based and fiscally responsible, and you're going to hold them accountable to you, and you should, and I'd ask you to do that. So I think that coalition is going to be formed, and that coalition needs to go forward with exactly what we need done in this nation, which is jobs in the economy. And jobs in the economy means repealing health care, getting it off the table. The takeover is causing our economy to constrict. Businesses cannot afford these taxes. We need cap and trade off the table. Cap and trade is going to cost this district alone $350 million and thousands of jobs. Some of the best jobs we have here: manufacturing, distribution, transportation, coal mining. We need to get those legislation off of the table, and we need to reduce the size of government, get it back to its constitutional provisions, which is number one, national defense.
First thing I'm going to do is vote for somebody other than Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House. And you know, I say that lightheartedly, but the very first vote that a congressman makes is probably the most important one. Who's going to be in charge of leadership? And I hope I'm there to cast my vote for somebody other than Nancy Pelosi. I'm not somebody that's going to go there and see how many scalps I can get flying from the TP, how many pieces of bills you can get passed. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to concentrate on what's really threatening the future of our country, and that's the fiscal crisis that's looming of unimaginable proportion. And you've heard all the figures: $12 trillion operating debt that we're running, 50, 60, 70 trillion dollars in entitlement programs. This is going to hit us one of these days. I think 2010 is our last chance, our very last chance to correct this situation. Otherwise, we're looking at hyperinflation, we're looking at a destabilized dollar, and I'm going to get rid of Nancy Pelosi.
Matt Schneider.
My question has been answered.
Okay. Pardon? Yes, we can't run over. You are. Victor Roth.
I'll pass. Yeah. Actually, I'd like to yield my question to Jason Strong.
Pardon?
I'd like to yield my question to Jason Strong if I could. Is there some right? Okay. I'll take mine when it comes up. I yield the floor back to
Paul Blackwell. With reference to the Constitution, before he starts, I'd like to see somebody enforce it instead of trying to support it.
Good point. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Laffer curve, and which refers to a certain level of taxation where you have the best funds generated, best revenues generated. It's about 12%. So my question would be, would you support a flat tax or fair tax, one or the other, I don't care which, and eliminate income tax and eliminate the IRS?
I think one of the, if you're a good coach, if you don't have somebody who's good in that area, you find a line coach if you're not a good line coach. I say that to say I believe we should abolish the IRS. I believe our tax system doesn't work. I wish I was more versed on the flat tax as opposed to the fair tax, to all of those, but put together a team of people who come on, let's make filling out our taxes a little bit easier. Isn't this kind of ridiculous? There has to be a way to be able to do that, except there's so many special interests have their own little pet projects in there. So yes, I would be for doing away with the current income tax and doing away with the IRS and coming up with a more simplified plan for the American people.
Very rarely do I get a question on the Arthur Laffer curve, and I certainly appreciate that. I strongly believe in the Laffer curve, and strongly believe that the government so desperately wants more money in the coffers. If they'd get out of the way, if they'd get out of their own way and allow the free market to work and allow an economic growth and the expansion of the profit frontier, and if they would do these things if they actually believed in our free market system and the creating of economic growth, they would see that they would get more tax revenue than what they're getting by trying to squeeze the life out of everyone. So I strongly believe in that economic theory and think that we have to go in that direction. As far as the alternatives, both the flat tax and the fair tax are much superior to what we have now. I would support whatever we could to move away from what we have now and move to a better system of taxation. The income tax is certainly one of the worst taxes you can have, that and property taxes. So I certainly would like to see it.
The federal government is supposed to fear the people. The people aren't supposed to fear the IRS. So we've got to flip this around the other way. I would support the fair tax or the flat tax or even a national sales tax if we were eliminating the federal income tax. Because the federal income tax is all about control and them dictating who pays more, who doesn't. And that's what they want with cap and trade. It's about controlling things. I think we need to go to a more fair system. I believe every candidate would agree with that. And it just seems like it makes common sense. How come our lawyers and career politicians in Congress don't get it?